Hello, everyone. It is Suzanne Hart, and welcome, welcome, welcome. It is another Thursday evening with Mindset Mastery, and we have a call for you tonight. I can't wait to introduce my gal, my friend, my sister sitting beside me. Make a wave, but we but we will just give it a moment for people to begin to show up. So as you are joining, what I'd inspire you to do is to begin by sharing. And what I mean by this, well, first of all, as you jump on, let us know who you are, where you're joining us from, and what you do. Why? Because this is social media and we are in a social context and we're going to learn about social media strategies today. We're going to learn how to shine on social media. So as you come on, let people know who you are, where you're checking in from, and what you do, and maybe why you're here. Because this is how we connect. And I'm going to ask you to do this even if you're listening to the replay, because you never know when someone's going to scroll, find your contact, and begin to check you out. Magic happens on social media if you put the right information in the right place with the right audience. Secondly, so as you join Cindy and everyone else, where are you joining from? What do you do? And why you're here. I would love to hear it. Secondly, knowledge is power. So I'm going to ask you to bless a life, because this is what we do. Sharing is caring. So if you care about a friend who is on social media, on any platform, and you think this information is going to be of value for them, how are they going to shine on social media? You want to share them. So share it to a group, share it to a page, pass this information on, because knowledge is power in two ways. One is when you apply what you learn in a systematic, organized way, Napoleon Hill.
I like that.
If you share it, teach it, and expand it, right? Knowledge kept to ourselves is not as useful as when we share it, teach it, and expand it. So that's what we're going to ask you to do. So definitely bless a life. Now, we are going to be talking about is selling serving, right? We're going to talk about serving rather than selling, or serving and selling. We're going to talk about all that. Sharia is a social media strategist, so I'm going to introduce her in more depth in a moment. But if you have a question related to your social media, you definitely want to put it in the comment section so that we can get to it. The word tonight is mastermind. So if you want to stay connected, if you want to receive Tria's beautiful gift, and I know there's going to be one, you definitely want to put the word mastermind in the comment section. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, everyone. Mindset Mastery, and we're talking about social media tonight. This is exciting. So the beautiful sister beside me is a social media strategist. This sister, let me just say, can do the do. She understands. Now, what I love about Miss Taria Hart, welcome Taria. What I love about Taria is she doesn't just tell you how to post. She helps you develop a strategy so you can serve and shine on social media. So Taria, I am so excited to have you here. Welcome. And are we good?
Yes, we're good. I think I am just raising my volume, and I am super excited, to be here. Thank you so much for the awesome introduction. I can't wait for all the goodies that we're sharing this evening.
I'm so excited. Now, Tria is my social media strategist, and she works with a number of successful people that I know, and she's mentored with some of the best of the best. So this is a woman whose brain you want to have an opportunity to pick. That's some of what we're going to do today. So, Taria, before we jump in, and I notice there's a bit of a delay, so for anyone listening, please bear with us. So, as we jump in tonight, first of all, tell everyone a little bit about how social media became your thing.
Oh wow. And I absolutely love to share this story because I tell people, first of all, I was never a big fan of social media. So back in the early 2000s, back in the day, where people got onto social media, and I remember there was MySpace, there was Black Planet, there was a forum with Yahoo. I do believe, I can't even remember, all of the different social media platforms that they had out there. And I remember all of my friends, getting on these platforms, and they were encouraging me to get on the platform. And I'm just like, why? I don't like social media. There's nothing that I, want to know or be so involved in the everyday activities, of, people. And it was so funny that I actually got into social media on my journey through entrepreneurship. So it was one of those things when I started my business and I left corporate America. One of the things that people tell you that you have to do all the time as an entrepreneur, especially a new entrepreneur, you have to get out there and you have to network. Right. And I thought that I was a savvy networker, Suzanne. Okay. So I used to attend at least 2 to 3 networking events every week. I even had a system. I had a process of networking. I even got so good at networking, I used to network for my clients. Okay. So
Oh
my
my.
clients actually paid me to network on their behalf. I even owned the domain igoforyou.com. So it was part of one of the things that I thought that I was, doing really well, which was networking. And like I said, I had a process when it came to networking. And one of the things that I did was follow up. So I had a really strong follow up strategy where I would sit and I would email. I had a nice little template and everything. And I would email all of the people that I met at the networking events and ask them for a chance to connect with them deeper and further. And what I found, to my surprise, is that a lot of people weren't really connecting back with me. Okay, so I would send out these emails, and I mean, how many of you could identify with this, right? You go to a networking event, you meet people at the event, you collect the business cards, and in your mind you're thinking that you had such an awesome connection and everything is well, and so why wouldn't they want to have a follow-up call with you, right? And so you sit down, you send out your email, and then inside of the email, I used to ask for like a 15-minute conversation. Can we get a chance to chat, and connect and learn more about each other, find out how we could serve each other, better. And to my surprise, people weren't responding. They weren't, replying back to emails. And then another thing, the ones that I did get the opportunity to have a conversation with, a touch basis with via phone, the infamous follow up, right? Like, I'm going to follow up with you in 3 days. And then you call them back in 3 days. And then all of a sudden they're like non-existent. It's like they just exited the planet, right?
Yeah.
And I was just like, what is that all about? But I noticed something different, and I noticed something really interesting was beginning to happen. I noticed that even though I got onto social media kicking and screaming, so finally, I think it was back in 2008 or something, I finally joined Facebook, right? And I got onto Facebook, and I found that what people were doing is that they were actually checking me out before they made that contact with me. So people were actually viewing my profile. They were sending me friend requests. Okay, I do believe I had a LinkedIn. It was Facebook and LinkedIn that I had at the time, and people were actually sending me connections, on LinkedIn. And a lot of times, what I even noticed started to happen before I left the networking event, people were connecting right there at the networking event on social media. And when I tell you guys, this has been like, this was back in like 2011, right? 2010, 2011. And so that's what really made me, pay attention to social media, to really understand it, from the business perspective, how, business owners and entrepreneurs were using social media. So I started to pay closer attention. And then I just started to take a look at some of the things that social media, allowed me to do. So as a new entrepreneur, I didn't have, that marketing budget. How many of you could identify, with that? So people say like, oh my gosh,
Raise my hand.
right? Like you have to put aside, that 20%, of your revenue for your marketing. So it's hard to put away 20%, when you're just getting started. You're just getting started. You're trying to make ends meet. You're just trying to, you're trying to figure it out, right? And so, for me, I was just like, oh my gosh. So social media gave me a very affordable way, to connect, with people, number one, and then to market, my business, number two. And I share a lot with people, like back in the days, man, it was the inbox. So I know people talk a lot about the DMs, and they have a lot of crazy DMs going on. Well, my DMs aren't crazy DMs. My DMs are filled with business opportunities. And so that's like really, my start into social media. And so I teach entrepreneurs and business owners, how to do the same.
One of the things I really love that you said is that you were connecting belly to belly at first and really realized that people weren't connecting back. And I think there's this thing about there's this thing called a gradient, and people love to connect on a gradient. And what that means is I don't really know you, right? So social media is a safe place for me to get to know you and check you out. Well, oftentimes what people will do is, I get it all the time. They'll meet me at a social event, a networking event. We'll connect on social media, and I'll notice that they'll friend me. They'll be looking at my videos. They'll be going to my page, and it's a safe way to get to know someone, to decide if you want to kind of take the relationship further. And that's why, your social media presence, sometimes we think that we're being on social media is all about the interaction. Sometimes it's about your presence. I like to say Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram to my own personal billboard at the side of the house. But I don't have to pay as much. It's the internet highway system that I've got a billboard on. And as people pass my billboard, they stop and check me out.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And so one of the things that, that also shared this joking part of the story, remember I said I didn't come onto social media willingly. I came on kicking and screaming. It was a platform where I connected with my friends and family. And so once I really started to notice, it was, a great opportunity, in business to connect, with people. I had a lot of cleaning up to do, right? Because like you said, it's that billboard, out there, and people are checking you out. And one of the things that I learned very quickly is that people will check you out, but they won't let you know that they're checking you out. Okay, so they're always watching. They're always watching, all the time. So it becomes very important, like you say, what you put on your billboard. What do you want people to see, about you?
Absolutely. And what we're talking about is brand alignment, right? Does what you post align with what you say your brand is, right? And a lot of times people don't think about that there. And what I love about what you teach us to do is to really be strategic about alignment, and everything that is posted is in alignment in some way, shape, or form with the overall look, feel, and energy of your brand, your messaging.
Yes.
So the topic tonight is is serving selling, and I really want to dive into this because I think it's such a great topic. And so first of all, unpack that question for us, Tria. What do you mean by is serving selling?
So here's the thing. I hear a lot of things, inside of the marketplace. And I want to just kind of back up a little bit in the reason why, I'm asking this question. And so there's a little backstory, behind of is serving selling question. So I'll just share a little bit of the backstory, and then I'm going to bring it across how it means to social media. So for those of you out there who are watching and don't know, I do have a platform that's called Social Media Saturdays. And Social Media Saturdays is a platform that I've hosted now for, about 4 years. And the funny thing, I tell people this all the time, and it's true, but people sometimes don't really believe me, right? Like when I started Social Media Saturdays platform, I did not start it because I wanted to have a show. So if anyone knows me or connected with me, and I can't claim it now, right? But I used to be so shy and behind the camera. And I just wanted to have a video platform to understand how video marketing worked. Okay, so video marketing, was on the rise. Okay, about 4 or 5 years ago, the introduction of more video into the marketplace. And there was a lot of buzz going on how we could, use video to generate revenue and grow our business. Back then it was webinars, and
Right.
then came live stream, right? So that's why I started the platform, so I could give myself the opportunity to have a user experience so I can serve my clients better. Okay, so I have to go through the process. And what I'm seeing now is things have changed so much in the marketplace, especially when it comes to social media. So back in the day, it was very easy for you if you had a product or if you had a service, because social media, your reach is so expansive. You could get onto social media and you could just simply play the numbers game. And what I call the numbers game is, by the law of averages, if you put something out there, there are billions of people that you could connect with. Eventually, you will find, some people to buy your products and services, and then you will play the numbers game. So let's kind of fast forward to today. Okay, what do we see happening, especially in the space of social media? We see now that more and more people, more and more businesses, and I talk about Facebook, because Facebook is, one of the platforms that I find very, very intriguing, right? And I've looked at the growth of the platform over the years. So now what we're seeing is more and more competition. I remember, like I said, doing videos, starting out with videos, not too many people, were doing videos. Even Facebook did not have its live stream platform when I started to get into video marketing, right? Now it seems like whenever you turn around, there's videos, there's an inundation of ads, sponsored stories, marketing across all social media sites. So here's the thing. The question becomes, what separates you from your competition?
Good question.
Yeah. So when I think about serving, right, it's all about how we show up to serve and how we're going to outserve our competition while we're here on these platforms, because that's what it's really going to take. How do you position yourself so you could have that unique relationship with the people that you are, called to help out there in the marketplace? Because one of the things that I love to share, with people is, very rarely are the products and the services that we offer unique. Okay, very rarely, but it's how you deliver them, and it's the experience that people have with your brand is what makes people work with you. And one more thing I want to say about this, and my goal is to just shape the mindset to let people know that the first experience oftentimes that people have with you is through social media. So even before you have a conversation, before you get on the stage to speak at that event, it's social media. So how are you creating your user experience from the very beginning?
So let's break this down a little bit, because I think this is so important and so key. So we're talking about, I want to talk about the mindset behind this,
Mhm.
because oftentimes when people come and they think about this concept called selling, they think of presenting and asking, right? Asking for
Mhm.
the, and you're saying that people won't buy my product or my service until they actually buy me. That's really what
Yes.
you're saying. And I'm the distinction between everyone else. What's my unique selling proposition? What's so unique, magnificent, the differentiator in me that really has someone say, I want to work with this person? And you know, I'm a storyteller and I'm a speaker. And one of the things I say is that it is my story, my experience,
Mhm.
what I put into the marketplace about myself, how I actually serve, that has people say, that's my person,
Yes.
right? So let's talk mindset a little bit more, because I think oftentimes one of those that people, what do you mean serving? Like, what, when I'm going to serve on social media, what exactly am I doing?
Okay, so first of all, when you think about serving on social media, one of the things that I want people to really understand is to show up as a resource. Okay, because if you just take a look at it this way, social media, the first word says it all, right? To be social. So no one, okay, opens up, you know, a platform like Facebook in the morning, or a platform like Twitter, or a platform like LinkedIn or YouTube, and say, you know what, I am going to go shopping, you know, on Facebook today, right? No one says that. I don't think that anybody has ever said that. So the key becomes, when you are on social media, right? How do you, you know, show up? How do you serve? How do you lead with that value? How do you lead with, you know, providing that like, know, and trust factor? So the first thing that I'd like to encourage people to really understand, right? Even though you do have the opportunity to position your products and services, right? Just going out there and say, hey, buy this from me, you know, here, you know, 9 times out of 10, it doesn't work like that. People want to know, okay, who they are connecting with. People want to know if they could trust you. And this used to be a big question back in the day. If any of you could remember online marketing, when you were first introduced to online marketing. And just imagine this, you would have products like $37, right? Or $47, or even sometimes $7. And they have that buy button. And you were so scared to press the buy button because you did not know who was on the end of that buy button, right? You did not know if somebody was going to take your $7 or not. Now, let's be for real, right? You're not really going to be in dire straits, right? If, you know, you lost $7, but that was the feeling, yeah, that you had, you know, behind of it is like, oh my gosh, you know, if I press this button, would they give me that ebook that they said that I was going to get for $7? And you would be mad too, right? If something happened, if you didn't get your ebook, imagine all of the emotions that you went through before you found the email to email the company and say, hey, the email did not come through. I did not get my ebook. And 9 times out of 10, they'll send it to you, right? But just imagine that. So the part of it is, you know, now is just showing up to serve. Okay, so we're in the space where a lot of us, you know, are coaches and consultants. We do have high ticket, you know, programs and offers that we want to attract people to, right? But once again, how do people get the opportunity to know who you are, like, trust you? Are you going to be consistent? Okay, so when they do enroll in that program with you, they kind of have a sense of what it's like already to work with you, because you have been serving them even before the sale.
So when you're saying serving, I know for myself, I tend to give, like, one of the biggest questions that people ask is, you know, what do I give away my content? Now I know for myself, I freely give content. I give content every Thursday I will give you the goods. And I'll give you different goods. I will deep dive into the goods.
Mm-hmm.
And for some people will say to me, well, Suzanne, why would they show up? And I think that even when I give you the goods, there's so much more for me to give you.
Yeah.
That I couldn't give you all that I got in 30 minutes. However, I think what people also kind of see is, if this is what she's giving away on social media, what will happen when I get in the room? Right?
Yeah. So it's interesting because I have worked with, you know, once again, many coaches and consultants, and you know that has been a big question, right? Oh my gosh, how much do I give away? How much do I share? And people really do have that legitimate fear, right? Like, oh my gosh, if I give away all of this stuff, then what would stop people, you know, or what would encourage people to work with me? So I want to say two things on that standpoint, right? For the people who are out there looking to kind of piece together their business, like on free information, they are not your clients. So that's the first thing that you need to absolutely get comfortable with, and know that that is not your ideal client, period. And just let it go. Serve anyway, but just let that go. Okay. Also, here's the shift that has happened in the marketplace. We cannot any longer hold information hostage. Let me just say that, right? You cannot hold information hostage.
Okay.
And the reason why you can't hold information hostage is because Google, YouTube, Bing, everybody out there has done such a wonderful job of making information accessible. So we are no longer in the information age. We have left the information age, okay? So information age is gone. So if you think that the thing that's going to separate you from your competition is your information, then I'm here to tell you it's not.
So there's nothing new, really.
It's nothing new. You'll find it, and I'll show you what I mean in just a second by another example. We are in the experience age, okay? And it's the experience.
You know, someone write that in the comment section. We are in the experience.
Yes.
That's a whole ballgame.
Yes, we are in the experience age, okay? So it's, what do people experience? And I said this before, a lot of times people are experiencing us and we don't even know that they're experiencing us, okay? So what is the experience that you are showcasing, the experience that you are providing, you know, with someone, like I said, even before, you know, they engage you in the sale, before they engage you in the contract, because that's also a precursor of what it would be like to work with you ongoing. And here's the thing that I really want people to understand and really get about this, right? Once you show up to serve, and you serve well, the chances of you keeping your clients over a longer period of time and enrolling your clients in higher products and services is better, you know, than you out there trying to acquire, you know, new clients or new, you know, business, you know, all the time. So I see a lot of people, you know, stay in the, you know, the fishing for new business all the time, right? And they never really bother, you know, to serve, you know, and serve well, so they could take their clients along that journey with them. Okay.
So and I wanted
to go ahead.
You know, what's really interesting about what you're saying, I love the whole concept of we're in the experience age, right? And one of the things that I know, like I know my name, is that that I understand the power of the experience. So I have content like everyone else, and I have learned my content from just reading and education and experience in different places. What I do know, however, is that I have a style, a manner, and
Yes.
bring my content that is experiential, right? And because I have my own unique story and my own unique experience, how I come to the information and how I deliver it is a unique experience unto itself. And so one of the things that I love the fact that you're saying an experience, because I've had people, I'm delivering my content and people will say, I have been looking for you.
Yeah.
Right? You are my mentor. You've dropped something on Facebook and the way you deliver it, the language you use, the energy that you put out, you're my mentor. And I know that when I come to social media and I deliver content, I am creating an experience that is
Yeah.
uniquely mine, because I truly believe that the people I'm looking for are actually looking for me, and they can hear it in the words I use, the cadence of my voice, the energy to which I put things into the world, the stories I tell. They will say to me, "That's my person."
Yeah.
And it's
And
not.
and and that's what it is. And that's why oftentimes you'll see, like I said, rarely are products and services in the marketplace unique, right? But
Mhm.
it's how you work with people. So some and people have different styles, okay? People have different styles in how they would like to be spoken to, how they would like to be treated. I've had clients that say to me, I don't need, all of the fluff stuff. Just give it to me, straight. And then, you have some clients, they do yeah, you gotta, smooth them over a little bit and be like, okay, yes, don't panic, don't panic. The last thing that we're gonna do is hit the panic button, is gonna be okay, right? And so you have to know that, and you have to understand that. So once again, is that feeling that you create, okay, when people work with you, when they connect with you, how do you, when they engage with you, how do you leave them afterwards? And that's a question that I've heard people ask, like in personal one-to-one, like you said, belly to belly conversations. But think about it, on social media we do have the opportunity to do one-to-many, and
Mhm.
we have the opportunity to do one-to-many every day, multiple times a day. So when someone experiencing you, how do they leave you?
Ah,
That goes across on your social media. How have you touched them, today on social media? What have you left? What are they taking away from you?
so let's look at see who's watching. I see Colette is here. I see Reginald Evans is here. Cindy, one of our consistent viewers, is here. Mike Walker. Now, Mike Walker and I met at a networking event when I was in
Hi, Mike
Manila.
Walker. Hi,
So
Mr. Evans.
we got proof there that social networking, and now he's on social media checking
Hmm.
checking out.
Yeah.
Checking out.
Hmm.
You've got evidence right here. We've got Natasha Davenport. Fasana drops great content on social media. I watch
Nice.
it myself. Mike saying hello, hi. So this is wonderful. So you're talking, when you say serving, you're talking about educating, providing information, giving value, giving
Hmm.
away some of your best,
Yes.
right? And giving it away in your own unique style and flavor, so that people feel that you are going to give them value. So
Yeah.
when they leave you, they really feel like, oh my gosh, I learned something I didn't know. Oh my goodness, I got some information. I felt attended to. That's kind of what you're talking about when you say, how are people leaving you?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I want to talk about, how does serving create engagement? Because I know one of the biggest things, we were tracking numbers today, and I was like,
Yes.
right. Like last week I had the one of the highest levels of engagement. I was like, whoa, the last 2 weeks.
Hmm.
So how does serving increase engagement?
Yeah. So if you take a look at serving and you're pertaining, well, first of all, let me just break down what engagement, right? What engagement is. So if you look at any social media context, they will tell you that engagement on social media is your likes, your comments, and your shares. Okay. So those are the physical things that people can do, right, to show that they're engaged with your content, whether it's a post, a video, whatever article, whatever you put up there, likes, comments, and shares. That's what most social media platforms like in engagement too. So I'm going to take that a little step further, right? And what I like to term as engagement is how we actively communicate with our audience and what's going on with them. Okay, so that's engagement. Okay, so when you put yourself in the position to really understand your audience and know the pain points of transformation that your audience is going through, the things you have, the best way that I could put it, right, is that as we communicate and we put ourselves out there on social media, do you notice that there are people, out there that every time you show up on social media, they're right there with you?
Yeah.
Okay, so that you put out something, they're the first to like it. You put up a video, they're first on the video stream. That's engagement, right? And that type of engagement only comes when you show up to serve. Okay, when you show up to say, you know what, I'm actively engaged in what's going on with my audience. So now it's not just about me and the information that I want to share, okay, or the things that I want to put out there, but what's going on with them? And how can I show up and serve them better? How can I help them, go through whatever it is, they're moving them to the next point. So that's how I take a look at engagement.
So in order to be effective at engagement, I'm required to know the needs, pain points, values, beliefs of my dream client, right?
Yeah.
I'm required to know that, and so to truly serve, I'm speaking into those spaces and places so that I'm giving them great value, right? And they will respond effectively.
Right.
I think what I've learned is how I get a clue for my value are the comments.
Yes.
Right. And people will actually tell you if they're getting value. I think also the following, as you said, there are people that'll show up for your content day in, day out. And those are just, a sense of engagement.
Oh yeah. And then the thing about it is that's really really interesting, and I know you've probably experienced this, right? On the times when you don't do something on social media, people call you, hey, are you okay? I missed the live. Where are you? I didn't see, you didn't send out this today. So that's a really true, measure if you are connecting and you are engaging, with your audience, and you're not just putting content up there just because you need to have content out there.
Well, it's interesting because our last 2 lives that we done, so we did networking up with Mr. Brent Simpson, and last week I did, fall down 7 times, stand up 8. That was the title.
Okay.
What was interesting was, we send out a notification, and I got emails back going, I am not going to be able to watch that live.
Yes.
It's recorded, and I'm thinking, it's a live recording. But people were like, are you going to record it? Are you going to resend it? And I'm like, yeah. So I'm answering these emails, and part of me is thinking, we all know it's a live, but I'm engaging. So thank you for that. Yes, we'll be sending it out such and such a time. But I get these emails and I'm excited.
Yeah.
And then I'll get emails from the actual live going, oh my gosh, that moved me.
Yes.
These sorts of things. And then those are your ways of knowing that you're in the conversations that's of value. And things, Tree, that you're really highlighting is when I'm on social media as an entrepreneur, it's not about what I need,
Yeah.
right? It's about what my audience, my dream client needs. So I'm not posting for me, but I'm posting for them. So that's the one thing I think that's really key. I think the other thing is that it's also, I'm posting from a perspective of business, but engagement also, what you're talking about is giving people a peek into who Suzanne is,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because people, when we're talking about know, like, and trust, if you're just business, 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 people might get a sense of your great content, but there's this thing called context. And context,
Yeah.
do I have a feel for you? Do I like you? Do I like your energy? And the only way that's possible is if I give you an insight into my story,
Mm-hmm.
ups and downs, my heart, my vulnerabilities, because part of why people buy is they want to know that somehow you understand their shoes. You've walked some way in their shoes. You get them. So when I'm on social media, I'm also making sure that I let people know this is who I am, and yes, I understand you.
Yeah. So it's so interesting that you made that point, because
We
one
get thumbs up for that.
yes. So one of the things that that's so interesting about the point that you made, right, is that I also hear this conversation in the marketplace, and it's going to go back to what you just alluded to just a little while ago, right? So we'll say, well, oh, okay, so now I'm growing my business, but when I grow my business, I don't want everything to be about me. So I think some people really legitimately have that fear, like they don't want to be the face of their brand. Okay. And they don't want anything, or too
Mhm.
many things, I should say, tied, to them personally when it comes to their business. So what I oftentimes see is people show up, and they show up, or I should say the brand shows up, and there's no personality with the brand.
Mhm.
Okay.
No
And so,
experience.
yeah, so the brand, brand is giving content, the brand is showcasing products and services, but like you say, there's really no context, right? There's no story, to go along with it. So even as we seek to, build our businesses and build businesses that aren't solely dependent, on us, and we're building the brand, your brand still has a story. So how does your story, play out, across your social media channels? How does your story, show up in
Mhm.
your content? Okay. And how do you, once again, serve through your brand? So are you really doing the best job that you can serving through your brand, or are you just positioning for the sale?
And I remind, and anyone who's worked with me, particularly any speaker that's worked with me, I always tell them that your money's in your story, it's not in your product.
Mm-hmm.
People are
Yeah.
like, what?
Yeah.
Money, it lives in your story. It does not live in your product. Your money lives in your story. And once people buy your story, they'll buy into your product and service.
Yeah.
And part of it is our money lives in our money lives in our pain and our vulnerability, and
Mm-hmm.
overcoming of that pain and vulnerability, because that's strength. When you move from where you were to where you have been, and you've crossed that gap, what
Yeah.
people wanting to know is, can you help me get across
Yeah.
that gap? Right? Because everybody has a product, but if you have used that product to cross the gap,
Yep.
you're like, she can show me, he can show
Right. Right.
me.
And that's exactly, what it is, so as and then that's part of like my journey with social media as well. I tell people, like, when I stepped out, back in 2010, I tell the story all the time, that I left, and I didn't have a plan. And so because I didn't have a plan, that, read between the lines, I didn't have, the funding, right? So I couldn't do some of the amazing things, or put my business like out there, like, with those people who plan exit strategies. So I had to learn how to use, technology, social media being some of the technology that I use. But here's the thing. It's been a long journey, lots of bumps and bruises along the way. And so I take all the things that I've learned, okay, that works and works for me, and share it with other people along the journey, making their journey less strenuous. Like I say it all the time, there's so many things that you have to, worry about in business. Your social media should not be one of them. This should not be a hard process for you. No, it should not be. And I'm here, to make that process a whole lot easier.
So before we wrap, there's one more thing I want to really distinguish for people in terms of this serving and selling and this whole concept of letting let your service create the sale.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to highlight the distinction between serving and presenting, because I think one of the things you're actually talking about, a lot of people jump on social media and they go right to the presentation. This is what I do, blah, 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 da, 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 da. And then they wonder why nothing has happened. They're presenting and they've never served.
Mm-hmm.
And so can you distinguish between serving, right, and connecting and serving versus presenting and selling? And because oftentimes people have the cart before the horse.
Oh, so Suzanne, I so absolutely love that you brought that point up. And I'm just going to take it back once again, that the first word in social media is social, to be social, right? It's not called selling media. It's called social media. So I challenge people to think, like, when you get onto your social platforms, how do you, number one, show up and serve? How do you be a resource? How do you build that like no one trust factor? How do you deliver value? These are all of the things that you should be thinking about in every single thing that you do on social media. So number one is to have that mindset, okay, that what I'm going to do is show up to serve. Now, one of the things, and I'm just going to share this, one of the things that and I talked about this today, when I look at, over the course of the years, like I said, it's been about 4 years now since I've been hosting social media Saturdays, right? One of the biggest questions, and it's so surprising that people ask me all the time, is like, why do you do the show? Like, why do you turn on your camera every Saturday morning, right? And give all of this information. Okay, can you hear me?
I'm just going to repeat that. Yes,
okay.
You cut out for a moment. One of the things that people ask you is, why do you do the show?
So why do I do the show, right? Like, you show up every Saturday morning and you give all of this information away for free. And, it kind of really pains my heart when people tell me you should shut it down. You shouldn't do it anymore. Or some people have even challenged me. I can't see how you make any money from that. Like, people, you imagine, you're not on my show, but, you're going to challenge me about what it is I'm doing. Like, what? How do you do that? So, right? So, what they don't see is the systems that happen on the back end. Okay. And so this is where the strategy comes in. So because I have strategy, because I have systems, I'm free to show up and serve on social media. And I don't have to, position a sale, because there's a process to get people into a presentation with me. Okay, there's a process for me to uncover deeper what their needs are and position my products and my services, or how I could help them move to the next level. That stuff happens offline.
So let me break this down so everyone really gets this. And I'm going to tell everyone the word today is mastermind,
yes,
which is the beginning of the system. Just so y'all clear, right?
Yes.
So this. And this is what I love about this, is that this allows you to get onto social media, serve, educate, provide value. If I use serve abundantly, effectively, the people who I believe are looking for me, the people that are looking for you, once you say, do this, they will choose in or choose out. But this is the beauty of it, is they will powerfully and freely choose.
Yes.
Now, what I love about the consistency, because you're saying consistently shine,
Mm-hmm.
that I can get on social media today, and we do this every Thursday. We've been doing it for about a year now, right? So I get on social media and I do this presentation. I get on social media. I do this presentation. Someone maybe checking me out today, and I'll still say the word today's mastermind. If you want to stay
Mm-hmm.
connected and you want to find out more about what we're up to, put in the word mastermind. Some people will just check me out and not do it, right? But they'll come back 2 weeks
Yes.
later and they'll watch again. And they'll come back 2 weeks later. And all they're doing is seeing how much value can I give them. They're checking me out.
Yeah.
If I consistently and persistently add value, invariably they'll go, ooh, let me type mastermind. That
Yeah.
moves me. I need to stay in touch. And when I offer something, they'll be like, let me type that word mastermind in so I can get into the process. Now, this is really what I want people to really get. Social media is where you serve and shine and create value
Yes.
and create curiosity about what more do you have. Presentation is something that's offline,
Yes.
that's usually done through an appointment where people get to learn more and you can tailor things to that person. And usually what ends up happening is people are doing presentations to people who never asked for one.
Yeah. Number one.
They're doing presentations to people who don't know them, like them, or even trust them.
Yeah.
They're doing presentations with no context or value, and then the presentation flops. And it's not that the presentation possibly wasn't any good, is that you didn't create the context for someone to
Yes.
receive what you're offering. And so it's like anything else. I've got to, my coach and mentor, David Wood, used to say, you've got to ETR.
Yes.
You've got to earn the right to ask for a sale.
Yeah.
You've got to earn the right to ask for someone's time. You've got to earn the right to ask for someone to show up and give you and open themselves up to you. We are required to ETR. So when you're serving and
Mm-hmm.
and when you're serving, you're actually setting up the opportunity to sell.
Yeah.
Is what's happening is you're ETRing, you're earning the right.
Yeah. And I absolutely love that. And another thing that I want to tag on to that, once you know you have a process, you have a strategy, you have your systems working, on the back end, then once again, you could fully 100% go into that mindset. Okay. So I think that people, when they hear about, showing up to serve on platforms, it's frightening for them, or it's a little disheartening for them when they don't have systems and processes in place. Then they seem to look at things like, oh my gosh, that's a waste of time. Like I'm just wasting my time, doing this because it's not going to lead to that. Okay. But once you know you have all of your dots connected, okay, then you're free, to fully step in to this arena. And I look at social media, like I said, it's the beginning point. People are experiencing your brand even before they get to step number 2. Even a lot of times, even before they meet you in person, before they have that phone call, before you invite them to your event, before you offer your products and service, your program, it's social media. Okay. So when you show up, you don't want to have on the back of, because it shows. Let me just say that it shows. Like, how someone looks when they're doing something that they don't believe in, or they're doing something that they don't want to do, even though they might smile, the energy is sometimes just off.
Absolutely.
Okay. And then versus that person who says, yes, I'm fully present here in this. And this is part of the process. This is just one step in the process that would lead to this. So when I show up here, I could fully show up here. I could be great here, and I could do this here, because then I know it will lead, to other things. And it's so surprising. Like I said, people are checking you out on social. Say that one more time. I didn't hear you. Oh,
No, it's
so
okay. Go ahead.
I was just about to say, as you were talking and you brought that point up, one of the things that I thought about is how discouraged, sometimes people really get. Like, they do one or two things, on social media, and they don't see the results. that
Mhm.
they expect to see, and then they throw their hands up and they just give up. And so one of the things that like I said, I'd love to share is that, oh my gosh, 4 years ago, when I started Social Media Saturdays, no way was I thinking that the platform would be the platform that it is now. Okay. I just wanted to see how video marketing worked. Okay.
Mhm.
But I've now seeing people, coming around, like people, they've been inside of the group for a while. And then all of a sudden they'll just pop up. And then they will pop up, check this out, with a bigger opportunity than the product and service that you're offering. They're showing up with collaborative relationships. They're showing up with opportunities that give you way, way, way more access to the right people, who you are called to serve. So yeah, it's such an amazing thing, like when you show up to serve. It is.
Fantastic. So Taria, I know you, so if someone wants to connect with you, how do they connect with you, number one?
Okay, so I'm going to tell everyone, and actually, Suzanne, I have like some super exciting things that I like to share. So the first thing, if you would like to connect with me, the best way for you to connect with me is to connect with me in our Social Media Saturdays Facebook group. So after the broadcast, or actually, I think Colette is out there. If you don't mind, Colette, you could just drop the link into the comment section. You could go to Facebook in the search box, search Social Media Saturdays, and knock on the door for the group. So join the group. Okay, like I said, some pretty cool and amazing things happen inside the group. I share resources, tips all of the time inside of Social Media Saturdays. And then that's the main way that you can connect. You could also connect with me on the Facebook business page, Social Media Saturdays. We are on Instagram, Twitter, Social Media Saturdays. And if you are connecting on LinkedIn, I can't forget my LinkedIn people, right? If you are on LinkedIn, you could connect with me at Taria Hodge on LinkedIn.
Fantastic. And Taria, I know you have a gift for everyone.
Yes.
And I know you have something special starting. So can you let us know a little bit about that?
Yes, I am super excited. So we are in the middle or in the midst of launching our Show Up to Serve 5-day challenge. So how to make your brand shine online. So for those of you who are out there and you are struggling with social media, so you want to know how you could best utilize social media in your business, guess what? I have a free 5-day online challenge. Okay. And you could actually access the challenge by going to serveshareshine.com. So once again, serveshareshine.com. And that will give you access to the challenge. And I want everybody who's out there and listening, do yourself a favor and bless another business owner. Do them a favor. Invite an accountability partner to the challenge, because I'm telling you, it's going to be an amazing 5 days. Really peeling back, the layers on what it takes for you to show up and shine on social media. And I'm giving away some cool bonuses and cool prizes as well. Okay, so you definitely, want to make sure that you join the challenge, and then you want to invite another entrepreneur to go through the journey with you as well. So it's going to start on August 19th, August 19th through the 23rd. So it's a 5-day challenge.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Well, we have been speaking to Taria Hodge. You definitely want to be part of our social media challenge, because it will give you some cool insights around how to serve and instead of just selling right out of the gate, and really have people attracted to you and wanting to learn more. All right, so we are at the top of the hour again. It just flew
by so quickly.
I know.
Oh, and also, Suzanne, you're
Yeah.
my guest on Saturday for Social Media Saturdays. So we are continuing the conversation as well. So we can't forget. We can't forget to talk about that, so definitely I'm excited, about our conversation that you're bringing to the table. And I love that you say there's $1 million in your story. What's your $1 million story? So once again, we're talking about social
Absolutely.
media, we're talking about content. So you guys make sure that you join the group so you could get access to the information to join Suzanne and I on Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's going to
All
be awesome.
right. So I will be on social media Saturdays this Saturday. We have been speaking to social media strategist Taria Hodge. Now, if you want to stay in contact with me, definitely put Mastermind in the comments section. That'll give you access to more information. Ooh, my camera, I just disappeared. That'll give you more information on how to participate in our book study that's coming up. The book study is a 4 weeks leading with character process where you will find out more about habit mastery, because you know that is one of my favorite things to talk about. We will be walking you through a 4-week process starting in September. But register, put Mastermind in the comments section so that we know that you're interested, and also that we can stay in touch with you around these broadcasts and other tips, tools, and gifts that we have going out for you. Everyone, thank you so very much for joining us. We have been speaking to the beautiful Taria Hodge. I will be the guest on her show, Social Media Saturdays, this Saturday at what time?
10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will see you there. Everyone have a fantastic week. We will be back here next Thursday, and I have another lovely guest for you. So I will see you next Thursday, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Take care. Blessings.
All right. Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.